Hey, it's me, Marshall. Back at it again with game 2 of Afreeca Freecs versus Griffin. Let's get into it. So switch side selection. So Griffin's now on blue side. Afreeca Freecs is now on the red side. Aurelia ban. This normally signifies a first pick Aatrox, as Aurelia is the best meta counter pick to Aatrox currently. A lot of support bans. That's 4 support bans. Griffin takes away the Jayce from Kiin. A very good pick away, but in doing so they leave up Karma and Sejuani. Those are 2 very powerful picks, both that can go top. Karma isn't that bad of a matchup into Jayce, but it doesn't seem like a Kiin style of pick. Karma's damage scales off after 1 to 2 items and becomes much more utility. It's also interesting to see them pick Ezreal. Ezreal and Karma don't have as much synergy as Hyper Carry, but it is aiming's most played. Azir ban, so they're not quite sure. I also forgot to say Karma can also go support, so they're unsure where Karma can go. This is the biggest reason why Karma is such a nightmare to draft around. No matter what Afreeca Freecs picks 4th, they can have the flexibility to send Karma really anywhere. Griffin bans out the Nico, another flexible pick. I'm not sure if Kiin has any games on Nico. Afreeca Freecs locks in Galio. Technically, Galio is a flex pick, but his current power level is not very strong in the meta. So it's probably like 98% support. Griffin takes Akali. Akali is one of Chovy's best picks. And this very much solidifies that Jayce is going top, Akali mid. Kiin decides to lock in Camille. Given all of the picks up, he thinks that Camille is the best carry matchup he can go with. Other options he had were he could have gone a Scion or an Ornn, more of a tanky matchup. He could have gone for a similarly ranged top laner like Kennen, even like a GP, or in some cases a top lane Lucian. But he decides to go for the Camille, who has much more all-in. Taking a look at the comps, Sword really has to watch out for Sejuani. Sejuani can really ruin his day, especially with Camille. The Camille-Sejuani synergy is really, really good with Sejuani passive Permafrost and Camille's ability to proc it almost instantly. We will have Yukon on the Karma versus Akali, which isn't a terrible matchup for Karma. Be interesting to see what runes are chosen here. So Camille decides to go for Grasp. Grasp BM dying is a much more defensive rune. You can go press the attack, or even in some against tanks, Conqueror. So Grasp is saying I'm a more defensive build. Interestingly enough, though, against Jayce, it's a lot harder to proc. I can see the argument that Jayce is technically not a melee or like a ranged champion situationally. So in more traditional range versus melee matchups, Grasp seems almost useless. But in this case, there's some viability. Kiin with a strong trade, forcing both players to proc Corrupting Pot Charge. So it's able to kite it back very well. And let's take a look at the runes right here. So as I said before, Kiin is going for Grasp. He goes for Shield Bash. Shield Bash is very good with Camille's passive. Pretty standard rune page of yet. Sword decides to go with Electrocute. So Electrocute is very interesting. It's more of a burst build. He wants to burst down Kiin goes for the Ghost Poro 2 to try to be more safe as he's playing weak side, and both players decide to go for Corrupting Potion and Time Warp Tonic and Biscuits. They both want us to sustain up, and interestingly, Klepto is a against a melee matchup. You can go Klepto, Jayce. In this case, I feel like it's a lot more greedy since Camille does have a lot of all-in, and you do want some combat pressure. It's not like you're up against a tank that can't really fight against you. As you can see, level 2, Tarzan threatening the level 2 gank. Kiin already has it warded out expertly, though, so it doesn't get too much. Tarzan doesn't miss much tempo, so it's a whole lot of nothing. It's really interesting to see how Tarzan plays around Sword when he's playing Jayce in the early game. Almost always, Sword will get a gank from Tarzan to get ahead 1-0 and almost enable him to snowball the lane. Kiin getting poked down by auto attacks, forced to burn a corrupting pot charge. Let's see how much he can get farming under tower. Dread's on his way. It's the Ghost Poros with a high value right there. Spots out Sejuani. Sword has to play back, so he goes in the Fog of War and pings out his jungler to ward the Tri-Brush. This gives Kiin a lot, is able to get back in CS, and both players have to play passive. Dread with a bit of aggression, but Tarzan just flag and drags away. 2v2 kill bot lane. Ooh, just missed the Q2. Tarzan with a very, very creative level 2. Oh, with a very creative lane gank, but Kiin absolutely outplays it. Doesn't even have to flash. What a great escape by Kiin. And here's Dread with the counter gank, but he knows that it's not gonna work. Kiin has to teleport here, otherwise he's gonna get permafroze on right there. Kiin really wants to get that big wave to crash in, so he can get it reset for him. So boom, gets knocked up. A sword ease him away towards the wall. I think that's a big misplay by Sword right there. He's eating for damage, looking to one-shot him, but he kind of lets him get away. In other cases, Camille would have had to flash to get to the wall and hookshot away, but Sword gave Camille an exit out, so big misplay by Sword. He thought he could burst her down. Sword burns his TP and gets a serrated Dirk, going for the lethality Ghostblade build like Kiin did. Prox Electrocute right there, good trade. Looking to play passive as the wave is crashing towards him. Clears the wave out and starts creating a slow push towards the Camille. Camille went double Doran's Blade. This is the most, I would say, early game focus build, saying I want a lot of health, I want a lot of damage, I want a lot of lifesteal. This does feel bad because it doesn't build into any items that you want, like T-Mod and Triforce. Tarzan really wants to get this gank off. It feels really bad Camille still has flash though, but Tarzan is doing a number. Camille goes in. No shock. Oh, what a great use of Hextech Ultimatum to dodge skill shots. TP by Yukao. Ezreal ult almost there, and Kiin flashes in to go for the outplay and barely misses it. Kind of a very YOLO hero play by Kiin. Kind of weird, questionable. Like I don't really know what he was going for. Oof. That was actually, honestly, that was a really close dive. I hope we get a replay of that. I think Sword and Chovy misplayed. Chovy had to tank first. If Chovy tanked a little bit first, first of all, a great play by Tarzan right here. And an equally good play by Kiin, using his Hextech Ultimatum to dodge Jarvan's EQ knockup. Jarvan does all he can, and Kiin kind of gets baited by Corrupting Pot. So take a look right here. So Sejuani goes in, permafrost down, and Sword. I think Sword might have died to red buff anyways, but Chovy really needed to tank that first. Otherwise, I think Sword could have possibly lived. Kiin with a longsword and his boots, while Sword looking to complete his Ghostblade as soon as possible with Caulfield's Warhammer. Right now, Sword is up 16 CS. It really hurts that Kiin missed the whole big wave that crashed into his turret when he went for the big play. Both players do not have flash, and Camille's TP is coming up sooner though. Dread. That's a very solo queue play by Dread there. I don't really know what he's doing, trying to recall right there, and Tarzan makes him look like a rookie and sniffs it out. And then Sword is donated another kill. Sword is now 3-1-1 and is in position to carry the game. A lot of criticism Sword gets is that like, oh, he like was Jayce, you know, I mean not Jayce, Urgot, Scion player, like tank player. Like Sword can absolutely, if given resources, carry the game. He's mostly a weak side player because he can actually like play like the impact role of soak pressure and still be relevant and carry. But Sword absolutely can play Jayce. Like his Jayce is probably up there with Kiin and Khan. It's one of the best Jayces in Korea, if not the world. And people really need to sleep on him. Everyone wants to make him out like he's just, you know, this certain type of player, but he really is not. With all the excess gold, he's able to look at that gold differential, 1.3k. He has the majority of their gold lead right now. Kiin goes for the what is that item called? Phage, sorry, and pieces to Tab Eyes. Sword is also looking to get Tab Eyes, but is able to complete his Ghostblade and buy a stopwatch. Sword, I've noticed, Sword has bought a lot of early item stopwatches, which is a big investment, but has a lot of potential to outplay. Both junglers show bot side, so Sword is able to continually push up and apply pressure, get some plates with his lead. Both players have TP, so they definitely should be looking. Sword clears out the pink ward in his Tri-Brush. A sneaky little ward by Kiin, warding just outside of the brush of the entrance, so he still has vision there. That's a pretty sneaky play. Sword gets three plates. So nice use of Jayce E in hammer form to knock it away. Sennen looking for a Galio ult. Chovy's backing him up as well, and looks like there's going to be a lane reset where Sword is now going to go bot lane since Dragon is coming up. Huh. Kind of weird. Normally, I think you would keep your top laner who has TP top lane, since Chovy has TP too. I'm tripping. It doesn't really matter, yeah. But normally, if your mid doesn't have TP and there's a dragon up, you want to keep your top laner with TP in top lane so they can actually match a TP. But Sword pushes out the bot wave to basically enable this to be a free dragon. Afreeca can't face check. They can't risk straight up losing the game off this one fight. Good EQ shot blast poke by Sword. Aiming has elected to go for Man Immune first, so he won't have Iceborne Gauntlet and will be a little bit squishier. Kiin, it appears that Kiin has caught up in CS. Sword gets to eat this whole wave though and will be up at least a wave, if not 10 CS up. Kiin is able to finish his Tab Eyes and gets Sheen. He's not quite there to Triforce. Triforce is really the big breaking point. Even then, now I think that Sword will still be ahead because of his lead, but Triforce gives you a lot more kill pressure. Sword gets another straight Dirk, looking to hard snowball with double lethality. I think double lethality is very good when you're ahead. Obviously, if you're more even or behind, the Black Cleaver is by far the better buy here. Jungle shows top side, and Griffin has gotten a lot of good wards in the top side jungle, so Sword really has the avenue to play as aggressive as he wants. He can push up as far as he wants, and without fear of jungle gank. Kiin feels, since he doesn't have any vision or jungle pressure, he feels that he can't step up. Sword flashes away from Camille. Precision protocol, and the gank goes no. Oh, Dread steals that big Krug. Feels Batman Tarzan. Sword bush camping, pushing in the wave. Sword backs off. Sword's playing this lane very well, respecting vision and lack of vision, and also punishing where Sejuani shows top side. Sword pushes in the wave and backs. He should have enough for at least another longsword. And runs back to lane. Camille hopefully has Triforce by now. If she does. It'll be interesting to see what she goes next. Asterix could be in the works. She could go for a late Tiamat. Another dragon fight here. Jayce is slightly out of position. He needs to walk down. I think he was hiding out of vision because of that, Afreeca had to respect where he was. He gets some damage on the mid tier 1, and they get a free. They get some free vision control. Sword is pushing top lane, and Chovy is pushing bot. This is kind of a 1-3-1 where Afreeca Freecs has to decide where they go. Sword's hitting the top tier 2 while Kiin ults him in. And a nice, I consider that a solo kill. A nice play by, good ult by Senin. I don't think he needed the Galio ult, but better safe than sorry. And, but it is a trade, and they do go for they get Drake. But that was a big shutdown, though. Kiin got a big shutdown. Sword, he gets a Tiamat because of that. Sword realizes kind of his mistake, that he should have gone Black Cleaver, and buys his Phage to get some survivability in the 1v1 with Camille. But a good stun into Hextech Ultimatum, into Q. Sword barely gets knocked up there too. I think he was still dead, but just the edge of the Galio ult knocked him up, so kind of unlucky. He did have stopwatch, didn't want to use it because he was dead anyways. It's always good to see people not do the tilt stopwatch. The tilt stopwatch just basically wastes the gold, and he even bought that. He spent 600 gold to buy that, so... Hextech Ultimatum, they Kiin with a nice catch out on Viper. Forces its... No, that's a TP. Forces a TP by Chovy. That's very good. That kind of dissuades the 1-3-1, almost makes it a 4-1, forcing whoever, the Akali to play towards the objective side of the map. As you see right now, because of the TP disparity, the matchups are really weird. Jayce is forced to go bot against the Karma because lack of TP, but I think this is more advantageous for the Jayce. That's why Karma and Camille both ping it out and switch lanes. A nice play by Kiin, good engage. Viper really couldn't do anything. He had a good cleanse, but it didn't matter. Kiin picks up his own stopwatch. He wants to have room to outplay as well. The battle of these mid-tier ones. It's really big. Whoever gets the mid-tier one first will have a big advantage in the game. Aiming never one to not aggressively E in on Ezreal. Lots of pings coming out. Sword is grouping up with his team. He looks to run down. I don't think Camille will be able to get that tower. Lehen's on a crazy flank. Sword's able to pick up most of that wave, but you can see he's actually falling behind in CS to Camille. I attribute most of that to rotations. Camille gets to deny him another wave of CS. He says Sword backs for kind of no reason. I'm not really sure why he backed. He kind of gave up that tower for free. A really weird play by Sword. Get some Shock Blast poke off, but Camille has the advantage now. Camille kind of dictates the lane at this point. Maybe Sword wanted the top tower to go down so he could have more safety. I don't know. That's kind of a stretch, but I could see a world where that's his reasoning. See, look at him. Sword wants he gets some of the Krugs, but Camille's really bossing him around. Sword backs, elects to back again. Gets his Black Cleaver. See, this would make more sense. That first weird back where he gave up tower would make a lot more sense if he had like a certain buy that he had, but maybe he miscalculated the gold. I don't know. Camille looks to push in the wave, gets the full reset to tower, and looks to buy. She's looking for a TP flank right now, runs out of base, but so she doesn't have the home guards boost, so she more wants to group up than look for a flank. Gets a full Ravenous Hydra, which is great for her burst down. Triforce plus Ravenous Hydra is her core. I would expect either a Guardian Angel or a Sterix Gage next, because Camille really needs some tankiness to dive down the back line. Sword gets to eat some waves, and Camille looks to pick up the farm that's getting pushed into her. Toby with a Snowball Death Cap. That's a very interesting buy on the mid lane Akali. I don't play that much Akali, and I can't speak to it, but good engage by Lehens right there. And Sword with it finally uses his stopwatch. The trade goes even. Or not. Oh, Kiin with a great Hextech Ultimatum flash to extend the range. And that's a big shutdown too. Oof. Damn. It really feels like Afreeca has the... Kiin is really trying to hard carry this game. Although Griffin has an advantage, it doesn't really feel like it. The Jayce was so far ahead, and but is now behind again. They peel off the Baron at 2k HP. Kiin looks to engage on Sword. I think that was... I'm not sure if that was the right call. Big EQ poke from Jayce. They killed the support, and they give away the Baron for free. Ugh. I'm not sure about that turn at 2k HP. I feel like they could have maybe bursted it down and then tried to turn or get out. The turn only makes sense if, like, you kill the jungler, or the jungler's not is too close that you don't want to go for a 50-50. But in the end, even after they turn, they still elect to go for a 50-50, so it's very confusing. A great Hextech Ultimatum stopwatch by Kiin. He really hard carries this fight. And let's see the extended range. Boom, flash, Tiamat Q. So I think, right now, I think they could have DPS'd the Baron down. Obviously, they had, I think it was a very split call. People weren't really sure. They killed the Camille. who obviously doesn't have ult. And they already burned Sejuani ult on Tarzan. It makes sense to CC the jungler and then burst it down. That's how you take the Baron. But instead, they kind of waste some cooldowns, leech the Baron, and then go full Dignitas and hard throw. Sorb with some good poke. Gets a shutdown on aiming. And now they just run it down mid. Kiin with the snowball GA, but and Griffin aggressively looks to end. This is a great call by Griffin. This is what differentiates like the good and the pretty good from the great teams, is their decisiveness in the in late game shot calling. I don't know who made that call, but that was a great choice to just decide to end the game, push their advantage, and poor Kiin. I think if that Baron goes differently, Kiin definitely could have 1v5 carried the game. Maybe even 1v9. I don't think... I can't go as far to say that Dread kind of was trying to int his team. Anyways, that's game 2 of my Afreeca Freecs versus Griffin rundown. Thank you for watching, and peace.